Tense, I'm reading it backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't.
It's
It's a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt on the Deering Acting Studio podcast. I am Matt. I'm here today with Mr. Brian Sweeney and Mr. Joey Sweeney.
Who's Brian Sweeney?
Brian Sweeney,
This guy.
a.k.a.
Jason Statham.
All right, cool. So we are in our series this week on stories, and today we are talking about how to be a good storyteller. So let's kick this off right away with our daily devotional. Bri guy, you wanna take that thing?
I do.
All right, hit it up.
All right, our Bible verse today is Matthew 13:34. All these things Jesus spoke to the crowd in parables, and he did not speak to them without a parable.
Jesus would not speak to the people without a parable.
Y'all know why?
Yeah, why?
Because because the crowds became so big following him that he basically wanted to wean down the people who were actually listening, who were willing to like dive deeper into the story, essentially, like versus just handing it out, like giving it like this is the exact thing I want you to do. He wanted the people to think, essentially.
Okay, he wanted them to think. I like that. But I don't know that he was trying to like reach less people.
It does talk about that actually. Yeah, like but it's I'd have to find the exact spot.
So like the big crowd would come, he would start talking in a parable, people would leave?
Certain people would basically, like, it was meant to get the people who were willing to think deeper. So if you think about it this way, like if church is a place where you can go to first get introduced and get connected, and then Bible study or small group might be a way to enhance that, to go deeper into it. That's the way that the parables were essentially being used. So for those who were willing to take it to another level, essentially. Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought, and I thought that was in the Bible as well, that the parables were used because the people couldn't understand the truth, so he needed to speak to them in stories so that they could repeat the stories, that it'd be memorable, that they could go back and then think like, what was that? That was because Jesus just being himself would gather a crowd, like people would come,
Right.
and then it felt like even the naysayers, like the Pharisees and stuff, they would stick around and be like, okay, but then they would want to question him,
Yeah.
based off of what he would say.
And I could be totally wrong. That's just, I believe what I thought. So
Okay, let's wait until this guy misspeaks, and then we will question him.
kind of.
I feel like that would be a really fun character.
Totally, but he didn't. But I think there was the there's a part of that. I'm sure that you're right, and I'm interested actually. So we can search for that afterward. I'd love to see where that is. But my thought was when Jesus would speak in these parables, he would leave the people with these stories, and they would be like, okay, and it was very relatable to their lives, and it was kind of like connected to different things, and of course. There was a couple of different parables where he knew what he was doing, and he would talk to the people in a certain way, but then like the church leaders that he was ripping on, without saying their name, they knew that he was talking about them.
Oh yeah, yeah. 100%.
And then they get pissed and they leave and be like, all right, we gotta stop this guy. He's spreading all these things. People are gonna figure out he's talking about us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I would have been super scared.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I just want to cut to Brian all the time now because he looks so handsome with no
Thanks,
hair.
buddy. That's so
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
where'd your hair go?
It's on the floor at the barbershop.
What barbershop?
Barberlosophy.
Oh, on 32nd Street in Shea?
Yeah,
That place
yeah.
is great.
They're really, really good. Paul is
Barberlosophy.
fantastic.
People should check that place out, Barberlosophy. Look at that. Look at that head.
It's a great hit. I mean,
I gotta say too, if anybody likes my do, it's a Barberlosophy do as well.
And if anybody likes
Wow.
my do, it's also a barberlosophy.
there's a lot of barberlosophy
Yeah.
going around.
Yeah.
Barberlosophy is the only way we do our dues.
Do.
All right, so to be a good storyteller, like to use story in doing things, it really does change how people feel about you and how they kind of connect with you. So in other words, like if I were to tell a story in a certain way, you might think of me as smarter than I am potentially. You might think of me as dumber. You might have a certain kind of perception of me. If I can be a person who can tell a story, you might think of me as being engaging or funny or entertaining or whatnot. If I'm the type of person that repeats certain stories over and over again, you might think of me as redundant. You might think of me as somebody trying to show off all the time. If I'm somebody who laughs at my own jokes, who laughs at my stories before the story's over, you might see me as somebody who's annoying. Somebody who's like, okay. Right? Like storytelling's important. And I want to say too, especially in sales.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about this, we've talked about this in other episodes, and we will come back to this topic because it's such a great topic, but we are always selling. You know?
All the time.
What did I sell you yesterday? I was selling you yesterday.
Positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like trying to sell it like crazy.
Yeah, you were.
I tried 4 or 5 different angles. Did I tell
None of
you?
them worked.
That didn't work. No, it was terrible. No, but and maybe, truthfully, maybe needed to get to a better story. Maybe needed to find a way to connect in a better way. You know?
Probably. Yeah.
Because when we and we're going to get to this later in the week, but when we tell ourselves certain stories, it impacts our lives because we tell ourselves something on the inside, and then that thing comes out, right? Okay, so what makes a good storyteller? First and foremost, I believe that you gotta speak truth.
Yeah.
Have to. And so we go back to this magical masterclass we had this past weekend, and we were working through some of the best plays ever written. And these are great stories about people's lives. They're just little slivers of a person's life, and we're just telling their story, essentially. And we're telling the story of this moment in their lives. And what makes those stories so great is it usually represents an entire group of people or entire time period. And then if it's great, then it transcends time to where all of us can relate to it in some way. And we're telling this story, we're retelling it. So as an actor, to retell the story correctly, we have to get to the place where we believe we are that person living that life, and then just truthfully speaking in the moment. And then the audience feels like they're watching real life happen right in front of them. That's what being a good storyteller is all about.
And it's way easier said than done because there's a lot of levels to that, which is why Masterclass is what it is. Why people can stay on the same scene for years and never perfect it. And our craft can't be perfected. That's what's so interesting about it is it's just this constant growth, constant pursuit of getting better at things. But this idea of living into somebody else's truth loving them, believing them, living as them, acting as them, that takes a really long time to do, and truthfully portray that in all levels, whether that's physicality, voice, emotion, feeling, your whys, all of that plays in, and there's so many layers to really doing this.
So if you're going to tell a story, let's just say, Brian used to say, I'm telling my story. Mm-hmm. It's my story. How do you do it? Like, what's the key
to telling the story?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know I don't know what you're trying to say. Like,
well, I think it just, this comes back to just truth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like, yeah, okay.
The story of you, the story of what happened to you, the story of whatever, that process. It's a story of truth, and it's a story of you got to believe what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
To connect to us, to make us empathize with you,
right,
and connect to you, and get excited about what you went through and overcame.
Yeah. And I guess going into truth, all the way into truth, right? So that's something that we worked on, but being able to go through and not just show the nice stuff, right? Not just show the powerful overcomings, but also all of the deep struggle through that, because that's where people can relate. Honestly, that's where they can go in and go like, oh, I feel that, and then they don't see you as some like perfect person that they could never be, but as somebody who's just like them. Which goes back
to your idea that you talked to the kids about, which was telling somebody a story, and it's just, the guy gets to the bridge, and then everything good happens across the bridge, and then he gets to the other side of the bridge. And that's that same idea, And it's funny because you were able to explain that to the kids, and I wasn't able to explain that to you. It took me a long time. Yeah. But that's the idea, is like you were telling a story about just getting over the bridge and looking across and seeing rainbows. And I was like, bro, you got to talk about the fact the bridge kept breaking, and then you kept building it back up, and then helicopters came, and there were, you got to tell that part of the story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's what else is crazy. Tell me part of your story.
Part of my story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like from the beginning.
When I was 19, I found out I had an autoimmune disease. And I was in the hospital for a while. That got better. Then when I turned 25, I got really sick and was in a coma for 2 weeks. I lost my fingers and toes and had to spend a year recovering.
Tell me the details about when you went into the coma.
Let's see. That night, our grandpa had just passed away, so we were all gathering as a family. And then I started feeling really sick, so I went and hid in the bathroom, try and go to to throw up or whatever. And I didn't want anyone else to know I was sick. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of just lost my feeling and wasn't able to get up, so I was just stuck in the bathroom. And then our Uncle Tim came in and found me and lifted me up and carried me out to the car. And they took me to the hospital that was closest. That hospital was not very good at handling things. But they got me back into a room, and you were able to get a real temperature on me. Mm-hmm. And then they started panicking because I was like 113 or something, like really super high. And then they just got a bunch of ice packs. That's kind of the last thing I remember before waking up 2 weeks later.
Do you remember the ice?
Not really.
Do you remember me taking your temperature?
No. These are all just outside stories that I've heard.
Exactly. This was going to be my point, which is so cool. So you tell your story. Technically, you're telling other people's version of your story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're telling a story that is true because you believe it to be true.
Yeah.
How do you know it was 2 weeks? Really? How do you know it wasn't, 17 days?
Sure.
17 and a half days, 13 days, 12 days. You don't know. Not really.
Right.
And then if you go back and you look at facts, you try to find the charts, you know what I mean? Like real facts. It doesn't matter, actually, is the interesting part. But the story works because you believe it to be true, and it is true, and it's a version of the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when I tell you I took your temperature in that moment, I'm telling you to the best of my ability, my memory of that. But but memories fade and they change.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And therefore, when you're telling a story, you got to be telling the truth. But the truth is very subjective. It's like I am choosing to believe this thing, and now I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
So then you have to find a way to believe what you're saying before you say it to be a good storyteller. That's what I think is bringing the truth into something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're able to do that. Let's just say, Brian is really good with sales. Well, the reason is because he believes with his whole heart in the product. You believe in what it is. So when you call somebody, you're legitimately from the bottom of your heart calling to say, hey, I want to offer you something that I believe is going to help you, that is going to enhance your life.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're not actually selling.
Yeah.
No.
You're just explaining the truth.
Right.
And somebody can either pick it up or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jason Statham.
Who doesn't take a cell phone call from Jason Statham? Just saying.
It
That
comes
guy
up.
call-
I actually
that guy
switched the
calls
ID,
my phone.
So,
Did you?
I'm like, all right, I'm answering.
yep. It's a celebrity. It says Jason Statham right there on when I call you now on ID.
Jason Statham?
I don't know how you say his last name. I get it wrong every time.
Statham.
Statham.
You look just like him, dude.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
We are at the 7:15 mark.
Thank you,
just so
Joey. All
guys
right,
know.
so we're going to take a break here in 1 second. So I'm going to leave everybody with this. All right, so what you want to do too is you want to emotionally connect people into your story. So I think what happened this last time, Bri, was I asked you to tell your story and you kind of were just like rifling through facts.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're talking to a bunch of kids or you're telling your story, you emotionally get them involved.
Yeah.
Which now like they're on the edge of their seats, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that we want to add to this is we want to leave people on the edge of their seats. We always want to leave people wanting more. Mm-hmm. And Jesus was so good at that. He would be, he would tell a story and he'd be like, all right, I got to go. And they'd be like, hey, tell me a story. He's like, I got to go. And then he would do something great. He'd be like, hey, do me a favor. Don't tell people about this.
Yeah. And then everybody knew. It's like that thing. Like, don't put your hand in the kaboom. You go grab whatever it is.
Yeah, Jesus was probably a genius reverse psychologist.
100%. 100%. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So leaving people, you want to leave people thinking. You want to leave them on the edge of their seats. You want to emotionally connect to them. You want to create empathy. And so we're going to give you a couple exercises when we come back from commercial break. One of them is going to be to learn a riddle, memorize a riddle, and tell the riddle. All right. So I'm going to leave you all with this, and I want you guys to think about it as well. All right. So there's two fathers and two sons, and they're in a boat. They're searching for land. When they finally reach their destination, everyone makes it to land, and yet only 3 people get out of the boat. How is that possible? I'll repeat it one more time. 2 fathers and 2 sons are in a boat searching for land. When they finally reach their destination, everyone makes it to land, and yet only 3 people get out of the boat. How is that possible? Think about that, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. Circle up, please.
Your lives will all be changed and you'll grow if you really learn to listen in this way. Will you help me kill her? You have to react to that from his point of view as honestly as possible.
Punch him in the face. No, you don't know nothing. Come on.
As soon as you've solved the puzzle, the scene's over. Hey! Woo!
All right, we're back here. So, all right, one more time. Here it is. We got two fathers. We got two sons. They're on a boat. They're searching for land. They finally get to their destination. Everybody makes it out of the boat, yet only 3 people get out of the boat.
Boom, 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 boom. Got it.
Brian, how's this possible?
I don't. This is my face. I have no idea.
Okay. That looks like Jason Statham confused. You're trying to do a Jason Statham confused look. Okay.
Yep.
Joey?
I think it's God the Father. He's guiding them through the water, and it's said so many times in the Bible that God is the perfect father figure for us, all of us, no matter how great or not great your dad is. God is the ultimate father figure. So when it says 2 fathers, 2 sons, you know, it's probably a father with his 2 sons, and then God is watching over them, guiding them on their way to safety.
It's a good guess, Joey. It's a good guess. That wasn't it.
It's not it. Yeah,
not
I
it.
could tell.
Well, I like my guess still. I like my guess.
God does too.
Here's the answer. There was a grandfather, a father, and a son.
A grandfather.
Oh,
So there's 2
Father.
fathers and 2 sons,
Oh, okay.
but actually only 3 people.
That's tricky.
Yeah.
That's real tricky.
I mean, technically,
Dang.
mine still
That gets the
works.
mind going.
Technically.
But if everybody got off the boat, then God the Father would have got off the boat too.
Except he's not, like, physical anymore.
Yeah, see, and,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go.
And there's the crux of the question there.
So what is the point of this? To just get the mind going?
No, the
basically?
point of this is to become a good storyteller.
Okay.
The point of this is I needed to get you thinking. I wanted to get you emotionally involved. I actually found this riddle online this morning. And the original riddle was 2 fathers, 2 sons in a car. There's only 3 people in the car. How? I changed it to boat because I'm emotionally connected to boats. I added the searching for land, the getting out. When I told the story, I went 2 and 2.
Got it.
So I'm trying to get you to go one way. So I'm telling the story a certain way, however I want, to try to get over here and get you thinking. Okay, what is it? And the answer's more simple than you even realize.
Got it.
So this is just like if you memorize a riddle just to tell the riddle, then to see can you do it, because it's so easy to screw up a riddle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's so easy to screw up a joke, which is going to be our other assignment today, to memorize a joke and then deliver the joke.
Yep.
It's so easy to ruin it. Because the other thing we do as storytellers sometimes is we will give away emotionally the end
Yep.
ahead of time. And actors do this all the time. They'll play the end of the scene in the beginning where actually their character doesn't know what's going to happen. The actor knows, but the character doesn't. So then you're playing out the end emotionally in the beginning, and therefore the beginning of the scene doesn't make any sense. You don't want to get to the end early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. They want to give it all away, basically, which again happens all the time in scenes and stuff. So
It's like yesterday. I ran into this old lady at the bank. She asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over.
nice, nice. I'm trying to see. Right now, I'm trying to
That's
think of
not
one
very
and not screw it up.
Well, she asked me to do it though, Joe. I didn't want to do it. She asked me to do it.
Yeah.
It's like a man walks into a bar. Mm-hmm. Ouch.
It's good.
That one's grandma.
Do you guys happen to know why Peter Pan is always flying?
Nope.
Why?
Because he's in Neverlands. Because he
Oh.
never lands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
a
your
good one.
diction
That's a good
wasn't
one.
great, so it didn't work.
What's that?
Your diction wasn't great, so it didn't work.
And I added the word in. I said because he's in Neverlands. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
It should be because he never lands.
Yeah, that would be funny.
That's
That would be really
see, and
funny.
so I accidentally just landed a great point
Yeah.
on how you can have a joke, know a joke. I have the joke written down. I peeked at it. I came up and delivered it, and then I botched the end.
Yeah.
And just like that, you either get a laugh or you don't get a laugh.
yeah.
Storytelling. So this is our homework today. Okay, I want you to memorize a joke, memorize a riddle. Then try to deliver it to several different people. Practice it, try to deliver that thing. Make it simple. Try to just sort of fit it into conversation here and there. You know, you might, depending on who you're talking to, you might have to say, hey, I got a joke for you.
Yeah.
You know, or you just sort of like slip it in. It's another way to do it.
Hey, I got a joke for you.
And then going back to our outline from yesterday, and if you didn't see yesterday's show, you can go back and check that out. But you should have written yourself up an outline for your story. Now I want you to start adding some of the details in there. Maybe make the outline a little bit thicker now, as far as like now we have these major points. How am I going to add conflict? How am I going to add some rising action? How am I going to add emotional empathy to this scene? How am I going to find this character's truth, and making sure that I don't give it away at the end, but I know specifically what this character's searching for. So I want you to take that outline now, and I want you to detail it out a little bit with just more ideas on kind of how things are going to go. You don't have to write out sentences yet. You don't have to start telling the story yet, because you just sort of want to have this like blob of different ideas before you go in and just start to like narrow everything down. So we have our base outline, then we have these like little details that we're going to add in, and then we're going to use that moving forward as well.
Did you hear about the actor that fell through the floorboards?
Did he broke his leg?
He was just going through a stage. Nick Mulata. That's Nick Mulata, everyone.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Speaking of Nick Mulata.
Oh! Happy birthday, Nick. Is it Nick Mulata's birthday today?
It is Nick Mulata's birthday.
Why am I the only one saying it?
I was taking a deep breath to sing.
Brian's
and
like,
both looking at both of you.
Listen, I've been holding it in the whole episode. I'm just waiting. I'm so excited for this one. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Nick. Happy birthday, dear Nick Mulata.
Hey, Nick Mulata.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey,
all right, it's
me, Nick Mulata.
Nick Mulata
It's my
here.
birthday, guys. What am I
Hey,
gonna do?
I got a chain and a clean shave. What about it?
What do you want?
What about it? What do you want from me?
What are you gonna do about it?
I got daughters.
I got daughters. I got daughters all over the place.
Do you guys know why the bicycle couldn't stand up?
Why?
Why?
Because it was too tired.
How come you never see seagulls fly over the bay?
How come?
Because then they'd be bagels. That one's right from PT.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show today. Thank you so much. Take this homework, run with it, have fun. To be a good storyteller, you got to practice storytelling. So this is a fun way to start practicing your storytelling. Have a great day, and
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a chippy day, everyone. Rough.